Okay, let's talk. This is Harp Harp about white supremacy and the black existence so we can clear some things up on this channel. There's a lot going on, we know. We know for today, when I mentioned Ed Buck has been arrested, but not yet charged the way he should have been because you got a white supremacist judge who said that she had a hard time sentencing him because she wanted to think about the good that he have done. What good has a person done when you murdered people? When you done murdered, you talking about a murderer, a serial killer. There's no good that he's done. Everything that he's done is manipulative. So there's no good that this man has done. But the judge said that, and what she said mattered. So therefore, he got 30 years and he should have got life without the possibility of parole. And he's been serial killing. We've been talking about him a long time. Thank you, Brother Tariq. You putting your foot on their neck and keeping us um involved in saying these things, and also what we say matter. I know about the science of what people say matter. I've taught anger management. I've been a part of it, and I'm studying communications and social science. What people say matter, and there's not enough of black people saying what we're going to be saying, and there is enough to say what we have been saying, and what we say matter, and that's why they went and got him, because what we said matter. We said he was a rapist. We said he was a serial killer, and it pointed to him. And eventually, the talking points are so sophisticated, the truth puts its pants on and walk around, and actually, it became into fruition. And you speak things in existence. You declare and decree what you should. So we need black people to understand saying things matter. So when you say something, it matters. Us saying that we decree and that are deserving of reparations and when litigation with our country is the reason that having the reason why they're having a discussion in the mainstream media and a broad discussion about it. Now, the reason why we've not gotten it yet and we've been held back so long is because of what black people have been saying. And that means they've been saying stuff like, oh, we're never going to get that. You're divided and you're conquered by saying that thing. And that's why I understand Edwin Baldwin when he say being reverently conscious as a black person is to be enraged. To hear your own friends and family say these things, because I did. And now we've reached a contraction and on our talking points of what we say, the science of what we say and deem to be true. These things that we say that are found to be factual by evidence, by documentation, and by invoice that slavery happened in such a way where we're affected by slavery to the point where we're under America without our inheritance as a people to be respectful among our families in the community and among society. This is what is true. The thing about it, it has to be said, and we're saying it. And by us saying it, it puts it in the forefront, and it has a certain type of sophistication by science that you have to rectify, and you have to look at it. Because the truth is the only thing that puts on it pants. So what you say matters. You have to understand, it, even in biblical terms, you cannot do unless you hear. You cannot act and demonstrate unless you hear. And you cannot hear unless someone say. You hear by the word. The word come by hearing. Faith come by hearing. So that's a demonstration of how you need to hear and then say. And now that we have a gain attraction where people are saying, they're actually doing things. What you say can declare what will be done and what you will even do. This is the science. And that's why Dr. King was assassinated, because of what he was saying and doing. Because he was not assassinated by what had already had been done. He was assassinated by saying that he's leading us into a burning house and then turning around and talking about our check and our economics. That's why Dr. King was shut up and he was assassinated. And the reason for assassination is to keep him quiet from saying things, from what he say and from what we need to say, and then what we need to act. What you say has a demonstration of how you act, and what you declare is how a demonstration of what you are projecting and your progressive state. So they wanted you to shut up and stop the communicating and saying things that are true and that will cause progressiveness to slave descendants. You see, that's why they burned down our towns before Dr. King, like Black Wall Street is because slaves are not, we're descendants of slaves. Slaves are not supposed to be competing with citizens. That part. But you see, this is where slavery had supposedly ended. Of course, chattel slavery ended, but the way in which slavery is anchored in other ways was continually going on and staying. And right now, today, we still have the effects of slavery in terms of our group. Also, you have to remember when you're talking and what you're saying, it matters to the point of knowing whether or not what you say actually holds water. And if you're speaking uh, in terms of a society, you cannot be heard and will not be heard unless you are in a group. That's why we have a sophistication teaching and argument at the New Voices of Black Media so that we gain traction of a unit and we all say the same thing. And it impacts and it gives power and it impacts. It's credible. It starts to actually move and format. It creates movement. We have an actual movement. There are 10% of us talking and regurgitating our own talking points to declare truth and honorable and honorability, truth and honorable existence. In terms of our claims, our legal claims, and in terms of what has happened regarding our claims that we have not yet obtained in America as a people and as a liberty. So what you say does matter. And what that judge said today mattered. Okay, because she said she didn't want to really convict um, Ed Buck because of what good he has done, and there's no good. And she said that because of somebody else saying something to her. And what they said to her is that you are a white person. The system has told her. And in history exchanges, they have said to you that you are a white person and that you are a free person and that you are the leader of narrative and the leader of people's choice and that you control the idea in the minds of people. And that's what she has been told. And that's what she believes in her idea and ideology as a judge in our judicial system before the courts of America. She um, uttered the words that this person has done so good that she had a hard time sentencing a murderer, a serial killer. So therefore, she has said to the public that your family is not important. And the people that lost their lives are not as important as it is for her to make this decision of prison against a killer who have took the lives of innocent people. And actually, she should have been able to make her sentencing based upon him manipulating government and paying his dues as a political due so that he can continue to commit crimes. You see, the Democrat Party, they are a main government. They're not just people what black folks think they are. They're not there to help black people. They're there to mitigate what should happen in our society. And what they have said is that they like it the way it is, and that if they don't like something, then they're going to come in. Now, they have not said that black people should be corrected. Who said these things? And what you say does matter. And we're saying that black people need to be corrected. Why? Because it's called self-preservation. The same, we are supposed to be in power in that way. It is not given. So we're saying these things to declare them ready and true, and they are. This is our way and our constitutional right as a people of America in terms of the 14th and 13th Amendment, in terms of slavery as a hardship, in terms of battling the effects of slavery as a result to being denied that which we were enslaved to, and that is wealth and liberties that other people have been able to obtain from our hardship as slaves and descendants of slaves by receiving wealth and by receiving economics and tax dollars and buffer American packages to be a people of capital and a people of respected people in society of America. It costs to live here. We built a system that people have to pay for, and that is designed that you cannot do anything here without the ticket. You cannot get in this amusement park unless you have paid and you have clearly stated what your claims are, and that takes saying. You have to say. So you have to state as a self-preservation. When it comes down to politicians and maybe even icons, people hear them because they are unicorns. They are people that have a following. They are people in the mainstream. So when they're speaking, the society can hear their voices. They're put in front of our media, in front of our visual media, so that we can live vicariously through them as an example. And if they don't say something, then nothing gets done. So here we are as a sheeple. We have to say things as a group. We cannot say things as a one person. That is a science in terms of existing as a group in a society. You have to say things together. So we're teaching Black people right now that we all need to say the same thing and the right thing. And that is reparations. That is a place where we can have a law put in place to keep people like Ed Buck from sitting there killing Black people, poisoning them for years. And they had a lead on this man and wouldn't take it because there's no bill that's been overseen or put in effect to protect that which is harmed and under America. And that is the descendant of slavery. Okay, so because there are immigrants in our country who do have protections. As a matter of fact, you have to look at the facts and you have to say these things in order for them to be rectified and looked upon, even if it's wrong or right. They have been getting protections. Asians have said that Black people are harming them or they have been harmed by America, and they have an anti-lynching bill and a $10 million recovery plan for themselves, and they are business owners over the slave descendant. We have a people that say, Native Americans, so-called, say that they've been harmed. They got an anti-harming lynching bill from the president that Black people voted in. They say that they have been harmed. The reason why they can get this in act is because they all say what has happened, and they say the same thing. You cannot be saying 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8 different things as a group and expect to declare victory. That is not going to happen. Black people has been dysfunctional and they understand this. If they can have you all say different things and declare different things as a dysfunction, then they don't have to act. This is what they do. This is called divide and conquer. This is what they have done to Black people. So what's important in the science of communications and the social science is that people have to understand unit. They have to understand being in unit and being in format of a broad concern and a power of concern of what should be, and understand factual elements. They have to understand factual evidence in terms of how you exist. And we have come to learn that there's something bigger than you, and it's science. And you have to respect that. The science say if you're in province, you will commit crimes. So we have come to learn that there it's always something more and there before you as a human being, regardless of what type of human you are. And what type of human we are is a people that have been made to be strong through a struggle of hundreds and hundreds of years, that we had suffered something that the world benefit from, not just the United States but the whole world. In terms of slavery, they are afraid of us. We are important people and we're unique people. We're very unique people. We have invented everything. So that Amy lady who was talking to Tucker Carlson on Tucker Carlson's show, maybe you should look her up if you don't know. She has declared that Black Americans are jealous and Black Americans have resented the contribution of Western people, which she mean white. Well, Amy, I would like to let you know something. No reason for us to be jealous. We invented the West as a Black American, as a Negro, as FBA, ADOS. We have built America and invented it. Black people have done so many things here. We are the leading people to the culture of America in terms of rock and roll and in terms of pop, R&B, and the Queen of Soul in terms of food and cooking. And the Black man invented a cell phone, and the Black lady invented the GPS in terms of going to space. In terms of the Black women going to space, we built community that was burned down by so-called Western people who had enslaved us because they were jealous. And we done all these things. And we have the best leaders who they declared one day will be world leaders. And we were a threat to the country because people are afraid of us and our intellect. And you say we have a low IQ. We made this economy what it is today as descendants of slaves and our people as slaves. We are the historical balance of this country. We're the historical balance. We're not a treasonous people, and we're not in terms of what we are in our hearts of hearts and our true existence. We have been made to be something because of white supremacy, and they declare things over us by denying us what is owed in an unlawful manner. This is what has happened, and today we are calling and demanding, not saying and asking, but demanding and telling as a self-preservation and people of power what should be given to us and what we have honored, what we have among us as a people to honor, and that is our inheritance. That is what we done for the society. We don't care about Tucker Carlson sitting up there playing games. We understand the ideology and the talking points and the whistleblowing terms that you guys use and your asinine response of who you are and the history of what you have been. You don't have the decency. You don't have the decency and you don't have the heart to say and to right your wrongs. That is a poor man that does that. And you want to tell things. You want to be the one to know it all and tell things. Well, this is where it stops. This is where we grab the baton and we understand and we begin the ideology and understand the ideology of correction, and it's coming from within and intellectually to our intellect. We don't get you to speak to our intellect and dumb us down in a way which we supposed to normalize having no knowledge. We embody knowledge and we decree it and declare it by what we say and what we do as facts and how it is adjacent to our reality and the facts in terms of constitution and the facts in terms of history. We are the people who built the country, and we're not jealous of anyone. This is where the first the first heart surgery was done by a black man. And you can go on and on about who we are. We gave the gospel choirs a scene. We gave music a scene, food, cooking. We invented things. And like I said, the cell phone and GPS. And one of the most prestigious black high schools is in Mississippi, Piney Woods, Mississippi, Piney Woods Country Life School. We are the people. We are the people. Even though you tried to pull down Bill Cosby, he was the first man ever known as America's dad. Oprah Winfrey, who we don't like because she's not on code, and we will get her there. And she'll be left beside. And she was the queen of TV. You have to understand, we know who we are. You don't get to talk to us like we're 5 years old. That doesn't work. You benefit from us. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Amy. We gave you. We're not pale. We don't get old fast. And we're not dying. You guys are dying. Your race is leaving, and that's not our fault. And I'm not making fun of that. This is the facts. And now you want to give the country to other people who look white or Hispanics or white Asians. And we have the blueprint to the country, and we will not allow that. And you are afraid of us becoming very substantial in our talking points and in our stance and justice claims. According to the situation, the country is belong to us, and we know it. Those who are woke, according to this dialogue, according to the science, we are understanding what has happened to us in a very real way where you are afraid and you are jealous kind of people in terms of who we are naturally. And as a matter of fact, we cannot help who we are naturally. There were people hurdled here to become bedwench and slaves bought with a price. And that's how we came about. So there's a lot of things in our blood, but as the American Negro stands, we are a powerful people and very peculiar people. We don't have any capital because of denial in United States strategic policies. Well, this is where it comes to an end. And you owe us reparations, and people are talking about it. And black people, we need you to get on board and say the same thing. We don't need you saying stuff that's going to baffle us back and keep us under America. We need you to say the things and decree the things that are true and real to us in terms of science and in terms of constitution. If you don't know those things, you need to sit and learn and give honor and gratitude to thought leaders like I myself, so that you can learn, because I see that you guys are talking different now, including my close friends who have said and declared what we will not have. When you say these things, you have spoke these things in existence, and we're changing what you say. And when we change what you say in here, we change what you do. Thank you for joining me.